on, guys? It's Ben from Warhammer Fantasy. Um, so this is just a channel update. Uh, Basically showing off my display board and a quick view of the stuff that I'm taking to Buckeye battles. Um, so without further ado, this is a display board that I made. It took me about 2 weeks to get done. Now, I know obviously it's not as elaborate as Chaihammer's display board, which is absolutely fantastic. But I'm lazy, not nearly as creative as Chaihammer is, so deal with it. So on my board, it is a dwarven mine shaft that my orcs came in, they absolutely wrecked face, and now they've taken over the mine shaft to get all the shinies. Behind my orc general that's standing there, that is the cave of shinies. And as you can see, the rest of my stuff on the board. Now, you will notice that all of my models have a particular type of movement tray. I am waiting on the other two movement trays for my orcs and for my spider riders, and once I get those, I will glue and base them and flock them and all that stuff and throw on the magnets so that everybody fits nicely. My Nasher Dashers down on the bottom, I have to touch up the paint of 4 of them, so that'll be work for next week to make sure everything's set up for Buckeye battles. So close, some Wolf Riders. Those guys in the background, those are not cave goblins, those are common goblins. They have short bows and shields. So I don't have any common goblins painted, so I'm just using my cave goblin models. Some more stuff. There's some more Nasher herd. You guys, I mean, if you watch my channel, you should probably know exactly what these things are. Just some more up close and personal images. Some of the paint that I need to touch up on the giant is it's a unit filler, obviously, and I gotta touch up the bone on him. A closer look at the common goblins. One of my Gargantulas, the second shinier Gargantula, which I also need to touch up the forest goblins on top of him. My Nasher herd, my heroes, and one lord. My both of these are splatterers, and then a Git launcher. So the display board, I used spackle and surprisingly, I used some chalk paint. So I put spackle all over the board, and then I put oddly enough, chalk paint works pretty damn well to make stone. So it's pretty nice. It dries fairly quickly. It gives it a nice matte look, and it just gives off a really good tone. The way I did this whole display board is none of these things went on except for the 3 walls in the center, the little building thing in the background with the extra blocks. So let's say that's the dwarves building a shack or something like that, or maybe like they're building an outhouse, or whatever you guys want to think of. The other walls that you see and the mine shaft, I actually got those in a trade with another. I believe he's a Games Workshop model. He's a collector, so he doesn't actually play the game. He plays, X-Wing or whatever, but he likes the models. So I sent him a bunch of my unpainted, unwanted models, and in return he made the mine shaft. And I'm pretty sure you can see the mouse cursor, but up above the black gargantula with know how to crew. The wall here and the walls basically around the splatterers are the ones that he made. He also made the mine shaft and the wall right behind the gargantula over here, the red and black one. I made this wall, and the center wall, and I made this little hut back here, partially built hut, and the pile of bricks over here. But it's I think it turned out pretty good. I did put divots, like explosion marks, like right around here where like a splatterer would have hit, or over here where they got cannon fire underneath the Nasher Dashers, and then over here underneath the Wolf Riders I have one. I was planning on putting a old model of one of these guys smashed into the ground, but as you can see there's a lot of stuff on my board, so I don't really have much room to put things, so it's a little difficult to get it to that point without making a bigger display board. So I have OCD, so I can't really put like something heavy on one side. But either way, this is what I'm taking without going into much details, because Buckeye Battles is still a few days away, so I don't want to reveal too much. I will make a list or another video going through exactly what I have, and explaining why I took it. So anyways, in this, I just made something earlier, about 5 minutes before I started making this video. I did a nameplate. And I looked online, and nameplates are like $30, or wherever you go to. It was the cheapest I found, maybe like 15 or whatever. But you can get pretty cheap nameplates. But this one didn't cost me anything, and I made it. All I did was take some smaller popsicle sticks and cut them up and glued them together, and then used a pencil to kind of write down what I wanted on there, and then just followed it with a paintbrush, lightly dry brushed it over top of it. And this is going to serve as my nameplate. Now, personally, I think it looks awesome, which is all that really matters. But it kind of resembles what orcs would do, I guess. I thought about buying one of those brass ones, or like a silver one or whatever, just to put it on there, make it nice and shiny. But the only thing orcs like that are shiny is gold, in armor and swords. So either way, I think this looks pretty good. But yeah, that is the army that I'm taking, and I am hoping to have a good time and do well at Buckeye Battles, unlike I did at Brawler's Bash. And at Brawler Bash, I kind of screwed that up. with my 60-man forest goblin block. Lost every single game except for my last one. So, you know, shit happens. But hopefully I'll do better this time. I do have 2 giant spiders, which is terrifying for most people. And I do have 5 war machines. So that's a pretty nasty shooting phase. Anyways, I've got a game tomorrow on Sunday, and I'm going to be doing a battle report on that. It's versus Highborn Elves. Normally don't do very well against Highborn Elves, but since I have so much shooting, I could probably just force him to get into combat with me by shooting the crap out of him. If that's the case. He might be able to outshoot me, might be able to get into the rear and kill some stuff, but if he can't, then I will hopefully win this one. So anyways, thank you for watching.